The explosive mid-season finale of Better Call Saul left everyone shocked. No one expected Howard Hamlin to die, let alone at the hands of none other than Lalo Salamanca. In an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, Patrick Fabian, who plays Howard, went into detail about his journey with his character. In this video, we'll go over everything he said. First, let's discuss that scene in the mid-season finale. It's safe to say Jimmy and Kim's pranks went too far this time. The prank was a coordinated effort that took months of planning. The slow build-up to make Cliff Maine believe Howard has a cocaine problem by these elaborate acts to destroy his reputation was all carefully designed. After engineering his breakdown during the HHM Sandpiper meeting, they put the final nail in the coffin in Howard's career. And as it turned out, in his literal coffin too. Howard Hamlin is a smart man. He immediately figured out it was Jimmy McGill who was behind all this. Still, we didn't expect him to show up at his apartment, but we don't blame him. Embarrassment can make one do all sorts of stupid things. So, not only did Howard visit Jimmy, he was also clearly drunk and offered Jimmy and Kim a drink. He then told them that he knew the whole thing was their doing and also revealed his plans to expose them. Sadly for poor Howard, he didn't live long enough to fulfill these plans. Enter Lalo, who walked in coolly. Seeing how terrified Jimmy and Kim were of this stranger, Howard felt the tension in the room shift. He tried to intervene, even when he saw the gun, because deep down he's a good man, and he sensed that the danger at hand was greater than the personal feud he had with them. This, as we were all shocked to see, ended badly for him. Lalo wordlessly shot and killed Howard, and he fell to the floor with a deafening thud. Next, we have Patrick Fabian's reaction to his character's death. No one foresaw this happening, but from the minute Lalo entered the apartment, we all knew Howard's fate was sealed. It seems Patrick Fabian knew about this even before the rest of the cast. He said that even though he knew that Howard would die this season before production even began, he's still in shock. He went on to say that even if you know what's going to happen in the script and you've filmed the last scenes already, things take a while to really sink in. It's different when it actually airs and you're finally done. All the years of work that go into a character culminate into one final scene in one episode. And after that, you don't know what to feel. There was applause, hugs, and tears, but it was a surreal experience to think, I'm now going to take the suit off, get in my car, and drive away, he told The Hollywood Reporter. Fabian thinks that the mid-season finale, plan and execution, was the end of his best character to date, and he knew this was coming the entire time. It must have been hard for him, especially knowing he had to keep this a secret for the entire production process of the season. How it works when a character is killed off by writers Vince Gilligan and Peter Gould is that you get the call, then you're supposed to forget about it until it's time to shoot that episode. And that's exactly what he did. He said, I didn't talk about it with anybody. I didn't talk about it with my wife. I didn't talk about it with Bob and Rhea, and we lived together. And while Fabian knew the character would die this season, he didn't know how it would play out. So when he got the script for episode 7, season 6, he said his heart was pounding. After the embarrassing display he was forced into doing at HHM in front of his colleagues and clients, the final scene, he said, was a gut punch. And now, reflecting on Howard's journey as a character, Patrick said as a whole, though, he was satisfied with how Howard's story ended up playing out. And he credits the rant Howard got to do just before being killed off for this. Usually, Howard's on the receiving end of outbursts from Jimmy or even Kim. Take Jimmy's famous explosion at Howard in episode 7 of the previous season, the one where he talks about shooting lightning bolts out of his fingers. This time, though, he was the one doing the talking. Howard had the floor and he called out both Jimmy and Kim for their actions. For Fabian, Howard getting to do his own monologue was satisfying. And of course, Howard dealt with his grief regarding Chuck too. He started going to therapy, and though things were rough in his marriage at the moment, he was going to work through that too. Like Howard himself admits, he always lands on his feet. That's just who he is. That amount of drive and initiative after everything he's been through is exactly why audiences reacted so strongly to his death, because he wasn't even in the game. He was just at the wrong place at the wrong time. Even Michael Mando's character's death felt somewhat justified because of how deeply he was involved in the cartel, but Howard was just trying to be a good lawyer. In the end, though, he thinks it happened way before Lalo shot Howard in Jimmy and Kim's apartment. All he had until that point in the show was his career. So when that's ruined with the breakdown earlier in the episode, Fabian thinks his life is over. So the actual death scene with Lalo's only cementing what's already happened. Howard's story is over. The actor does sometimes wish things could have gone differently. Of course, when you play a character this long, you develop an attachment. He wanted a happier ending for Howard. One where maybe Jimmy does take the job at HHM, and so Howard and Charlie Hustle can be partners like he's always wanted. Time for some other related news. Starting with Better Call Saul Season 6 gives a tragic callback to Chuck McGill. The mid-season finale of Better Call Saul is centered around Howard Hamlin, so it's no surprise that it's filled with references to Chuck McGill, the M in HMM. In one scene right before Howard goes into the meeting with Sandpiper, we see him converse with an intern. The new hire messes up restocking the fridge, and he shows him a trick that Chuck taught him to make sure sodas don't fizz everywhere when you open them. It's set against the giant portrait of Chuck himself. While Howard says that Chuck was one of the greatest legal minds he ever knew, he then acknowledges that some things are more important than that. This is a rare callback to the tragedy between the two brothers, Jimmy and Charles, one that Howard was intimately involved in. This somber moment shows us the human side of Howard, and it makes his untimely death hit even harder. Next, Rhea Seehorn shoots down rumors of a Kim Wexler spinoff. With everyone counting down the days until Better Call Saul returns from its mid-season break, we're all clamoring for more related content. Since the show is itself a spinoff, and with the recent release of El Camino, fans are wondering if we'll see more media set in the same universe. Maybe even something about the character of Kim Wexler and who she was before she met Jimmy McGill. Or if Kim isn't killed off this season, what's she doing during the events of Breaking Bad? Rhea Seehorn, however, dismissed rumors of a spinoff about her character in an interview. Speaking to Deadline, she said that while the writers agree that some characters are worth exploring further, right now they want to step away from the Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul universe. It's understandable. They've been working on it since 2008, so it's best to not get your hopes up for a spinoff in the same world, whether it be about Kim Wexler or Howard Hamlin or any other character. A shame because of how well loved the existing shows are. Finally, Peter Gould spills details on the return of Gene Takovic. Gene is the persona Saul Goodman adopts after the events of Breaking Bad, and throughout Better Call Saul, we've seen scenes that show Gene. They help show the parallels between Jimmy McGill as he started out and Saul Goodman after everything that happens with Walter White. This season, though, we haven't seen much of Gene at all. So the one question people have on their minds since this season began is, will we see more Gene? And the answer seems to be yes. Peter Gould, one of the two writers for Better Call Saul, spoke to Variety about the remaining half of the season. He said Gene is the key art of this season, so we'll definitely be seeing more of his character when the show returns in July. The conclusion to both the Jimmy McGill and the Gene Takovic stories will both play a big part in what Gould has called a surprising ending to the show. That's a wrap for this video. What did you think about the ending of Plan and Execution? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.